Imagine setting an alarm for 8 a.m. and it's still night. You go to school. Still night. You finish work, eat dinner, go to bed, and the sky never once turned blue. Now imagine that happening for 65 days in a row. No sunrise. No sunset. Just one long, unbroken night. This isn't science fiction. This is real life, right now, for thousands of people on Earth. This is Utqiaġvik, Alaska. And for 2 months every winter, the sun simply refuses to show up. The problem, relatable pain point. You already know what a single dark, gray week in winter does to you. The fatigue, the low mood, the urge to just stay in bed. Now stretch that feeling across months. No sunlight to regulate your body clock. No warmth to pull you outside. Just darkness, cold, and silence, day after day after day. Music. For most of us, that sounds unbearable. A nightmare we'd never choose. And yet, in towns scattered across the top of the world, people don't just survive this, they've built entire lives, cultures, and even joy around it. So how? How does a human being function, let alone thrive, without seeing daylight for 2 whole months? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. Aspirational/cinematic visuals. Picture this. The aurora borealis ripples like green silk across a star-filled sky. Snowdrifts glow faintly blue under a sky that never fully brightens. Inside small wooden houses, warm amber light spills from every window, and steam rises from cups of coffee held by hands wrapped in wool. This is the world of the polar night, a phenomenon so extreme, so otherworldly, that scientists, photographers, and dreamers travel from every continent just to experience it. But for the people who call these places home, it isn't a tourist attraction. It's January. It's Tuesday. It's life. The facts. The town itself. Let's go back to Utqiaġvik, formerly known as Barrow, the northernmost town in the United States, perched at 71 degrees north on Alaska's Arctic coastline. Around 5,000 people live here year-round. Every November, the sun dips below the horizon, and it doesn't come back up until late January. That's roughly 65 days of total darkness. And Utqiaġvik isn't alone. In Tromsø, Norway, a city of nearly 80,000 people, well above the Arctic Circle, the sun vanishes from late November to mid-January. That's almost 2 months where the sky never once turns gold. Even further north, on the icy archipelago of Svalbard, the town of Longyearbyen, the northernmost permanently inhabited settlement on the planet, endures what's called a civil polar night. From mid-November to late January, the sun doesn't just fail to rise, even twilight disappears for weeks at a time. And if you think that's extreme, consider this. At the South Pole, scientists at the Amundsen Scott Research Station watch the sun set once, in March, and don't see it again for 6 full months. This all happens because of one simple fact: Earth is tilted on its axis by about 23.5 degrees. During winter, the poles tilt so far away from the sun that its light simply can't reach over the horizon. The closer you are to the pole, the longer the darkness lasts. If your mind is already blown that this is real, wait until you hear how these people actually cope with it. Hit follow right now, because what's coming next might just change how you think about winter forever. The psychological explanation. Here's what's happening inside the human body during a polar night. Without sunlight, your brain produces less serotonin, the chemical linked to mood and motivation. At the same time, melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy, stays elevated for longer. Your internal clock, the one that's evolved over millions of years to follow the sun, simply has nothing to follow anymore. This combination is part of what's known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, a very real form of depression triggered by lack of light. But here's the twist researchers didn't expect. When scientists studied residents of Tromsø, they found something strange. Despite living through 2 months of darkness every single year, locals didn't report the spike in depression you'd assume. Sleep patterns barely changed. Mood stayed surprisingly stable. So what's their secret? Turns out, the people of the polar night have quietly mastered a set of habits, and honestly, most of us could use them too. 1. They flood their world with artificial light. Homes, schools, and offices keep bright lamps running constantly to compensate for what the sky won't give them. Some even use specialized light therapy lamps that mimic the wavelength of natural sunlight. 2. They take vitamin D seriously. With no sun to trigger natural production, supplementation becomes a non-negotiable part of daily life, not an afterthought. 3. They refuse to stay indoors. Even in the freezing dark, locals ski, hike, and walk outside daily. Movement and fresh air, they've learned, matter more than sunlight itself for keeping mood steady. 4. They lean into coziness, not isolation. In Norway, there's even a word for it: koselig. Warm lighting, shared meals, saunas, and gathering with others turn darkness into an excuse for connection, not loneliness. 5. They celebrate the dark instead of fighting it. Some towns throw light festivals during the polar night, and when the sun finally does return, entire communities gather outdoors just to watch it happen, a sunrise treated like a national holiday. And here's the part that makes this whole phenomenon even more incredible. The same towns trapped in 2 months of darkness will later experience the exact opposite extreme. In Utqiaġvik, after the long winter night ends, the sun eventually rises, and then it simply doesn't set, for nearly 80 days straight. Non-stop daylight, 24 hours a day, all summer long. Darkness and light, in perfect, brutal balance. There's something strangely beautiful about all of this. These aren't post-apocalyptic towns clinging to survival. They're thriving communities who've simply learned to live in rhythm with extremes most of us could never imagine. Maybe that's the real lesson here. Darkness doesn't have to mean despair. Sometimes it just means it's time to light a different kind of light, together. So here's a question for you. If you had to survive 65 days without a single sunrise, what's the first thing you'd do? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story took you somewhere you never expected, follow for more places on Earth that defy everything you thought you knew about how we live. Also, a quick click on subscribe can unlock a world of travel inspiration, money-saving tips, and valuable insights. Subscribe now.